For my community assignment this week, I returned to Buffalo City Court like I wanted to do last week, but I didn't vote this week, so I had to go back to the court. Uh, I was more expedient than I was last week. Than I was 2 weeks ago, or the past couple weeks. When I get there, all the. Sorry, I'm plugging in my computer. All the hearings would be over. All the judicial hearings were done for, and I'd be like, "What? It's 2:30. You guys said all this stuff starts at 2. What do you guys do for the rest of the day? I know you guys get out at 5, but that was in my previous video. If you want to revisit that, no, I actually got there early, right? Because I couldn't go Tuesday or Thursday because my last class is over by 1:50, so it's impossible, right? I gotta walk back to my apartment and get my car, and by the time I'm in my car, it's already their hearings are probably half over. So what I did, so I knew it had to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, when my last class is at 12:50. So I skip lunch and I go straight to my car. I drive right down to Buffalo State Court, and I get there at 1:45, right? The bailiff weeks ago said it's either, judicial processes here start at 9:30 or 2, and I was like, all right, whatever. So I'm here before 2. Hopefully something's gonna happen, right? I can just observe something, right? And I'm waiting on one of the benches outside the courtroom because they're not open, and I was like, damn. But just be patient. And I waited, and then one of the parts, as they call it, was open. So I went inside, and there was I witnessed 3 different hearings. One was this very belligerent and cavalier man who he came out in cuffs, but just cuffs, not a jumpsuit or anything. Came out in cuffs, and he was violating a trespass order. He had been removed from this train station 3 times already, and they did not. It was clear that the train station did not want him there. I don't think he has a trial date. I believe it's just he's ordered not to go back, or else there's gonna be heavier consequences. Hopefully he doesn't go to a different train station or walk. It's snowing out. Maybe just go to a different train station. Next one I didn't get that much information on, which was some very short lady, was someone with disorderly conduct and ordered to go back on her medication. I was like, oh, somebody got on the wrong side of her, No, but the last one is, that's where things went down. No, the last one is in the middle of one of them. I see the police beat this kid in who looks who looks around my age, 18, 19, not 20. Maybe if he's maybe if he has a youthful glow, but he's in handcuffs. He's sitting down. I was like, man, what'd this guy do? It's weird looking like that. The public defender goes over and talks to him, and then when it's his turn for his hearing thing, they go up, and the prosecution's asking for bail of, hear me out, $100,000. I remember my first time going here. There was this big dude, prison jumpsuit, handcuffs. He even had the ankle ones too, for violating no contact order with his hopefully now ex-girlfriend. And his was $20,000. I was like, what did this kid do? And the public defender's that is excessive. We request something as little as $10,000. So as little as $10,000. So still crazy. She was like, he's not a flight risk. He goes to UB, so he goes to our school, like, he's studying history, and I was like, what did he do? What did he do? And the prosecution's like, we strongly insist on a bill of $100,000 due to the severity of the crime, and like she's saying it involved like sexual performance of a minor. And I was like, minor under 16. It was like, oof, no, this is not looking good. Oof. I was just, I've been thinking like, usually when I go to court, I learn something about the legal process, right? You know, I learned about the pre-trial hearings, or when I saw the eviction court, the court attorney just basically gave me an overview of the whole process, right? This was less showing me court functions, and it was more like, you know, bringing it all down to earth, right? As I'm taking these classes, you know, every court case is like a story, right? But most of the court cases, at least I learn about or see, are from, you know, the late 1800s or early 1900s. You know, nothing. You know, there's very rarely, very rarely ones that I see that are past the 50s, right? Or I'm learning about Blackstone or Davies, who are from like the 1600s, right? Nothing big. So you can't. I don't really relate. You know, even if, you know, some of these cases that there might be a predicament that, you know, I could have gotten it at one point or another. You still don't relate like that just because it was so long ago. You don't think about it. But this, it's like it's kid. He's like he looks my age, and he goes to our school, and I was like, it was like a hit close to home kind of moment, kind of like a, no, I don't want to say relate because, well, I wouldn't do his crime. I definitely wouldn't, but like, you know, like you see, like, oh my god, like, because usually when I hear about crimes like this of this severity, you know, it's some old like 50-year-old creep, like some old dude. I don't see a person my age. It really shows you something. Yeah, I never would have. He was totally unassuming too. He never would have. You know, I'm looking at him, I was like, man, what'd he do? You know, well, yeah, he got caught spraying. He caught doing graffiti on the overpass or something. No, this. I don't even know what to say. It's too bad what some people do. Hopefully, when I go back to the city court in 2 weeks, or no, 2 weeks, it's break. Will we have a community assignment over break? Let me know. Because if not, if so, then I'll just do the public comment. Now that my brother's roommate / best friend is a member of a town board, so I can make many public comments. Yes. No, but next time I go to city court, hopefully I see a much lesser crime. You know, I don't. You know, a murder case is always interesting. Severe, you know, grand larceny. All these are so fun, but you don't like seeing the person. You know, you don't like seeing the person that did it. You don't like seeing the victim either, because the person did it. You're like, why would you do this? And with the victim, you're like, can't believe this could happen to someone. You know, if it's what I was saying, spray paint in the overpass. You know, it's whatever. You know, trespass in the train station. Big whoop, right? But this is something you don't want to see often. Well, until next time.